Good morning, everyone. This presentation analyzes four important economic issues that may affect our perfect futures performance. Firstly, I will let you guys know how the Australian government's 2026 tax cuts could definitely influence the aggregate demand and economic growth in our company. Secondly, I will discuss the Australia's recent inflation and the Reserve Bank's response through the higher interest rates that have occurred. And thirdly, I will analyze the effects of the tariffs and trade tensions on the market and businesses. And finally, I will demonstrate on how behavioral economics can help Perfect become a better business and make better business decisions. Tax cuts increase household disposable income, giving consumers more money to spend. But this raises consumption, which is a major component of the aggregate demand. In the short run, aggregate demand shifts to the right, shown on the graph. As a result, real GDP increases and employment rises, and the businesses experience much stronger sales. For our company, Perfect, stronger economic activity means organizations are more likely to invest into us and digital transformation and more business analysis. This creates additional consulting opportunities and increase in demand for our services. Now I'll be talking about the inflation monetary policy. During COVID-19, Australia experienced significant inflation. Several factors contributed to this outcome, which includes global supply chain disruptions, the labor shortages, and increased energy prices. To reduce inflation, the Reserve Bank of Australia increased higher interest rates, but higher interest rates made borrowing more expensive for households and businesses. As spending slowed down, the AD aggregate demand fell and helped to reduce the inflation. But the downside is that economic growth also slowed down. Real GDP weakened and employment growth will most likely decline. For Perfect, our company, higher interest rates can affect clients and how much they are willing to spend on our business. Businesses may postpone technology upgrades, consulting engagements, or digital transformation projects because financing becomes way more expensive. While inflation control is really important for long-term stability, higher interest rates may create short-term challenges for revenue growth. Now I'll be talking about the tariffs and trade wars. Tariffs are taxes imposed on imported goods or services. Their purpose is often to protect domestic industries and foreign competition. When a tariff is first introduced, the price paid by consumers typically increases. Domestic producers benefit from this because they usually face less competition and can sell more products or services to domestic consumers. Governments also collect tariff revenue. However, consumers lose because they pay higher prices and have fewer choices. Foreign suppliers also lose market share. If our company, Perfect, expands consulting services into the United States, tariffs or trade barriers could make international businesses way more difficult. Reduced global trade may discourage investment and lower demand for cross-border consulting projects. Although some domestic firms benefit from this, overall economic efficiency usually declines. Therefore, trade tensions generally create more challenges than opportunities for global consulting firms just like us. Now I'll be talking about behavioral economics. Traditional economics usually assume people make the most rational decision. But behavioral economics recognize that decision making is often influenced by psychological factors such as default bias. People frequently stick with pre-selected options because changing requires effort. Our organization, Perfect, can use this by presenting recommended consulting packages or implement pathways as default choices. The second example is social proof. Customers often look to the behavior of others when making decisions, just like following the pack or following, the leader. By highlighting successful client case studies and testimonials, Prefect can build credibility and encourage potential customers to engage with our services. These behavioral insights help improve customer experience and increase adoption rates, and to support stronger business outcomes. Based on all the analysis of these topics, several strategic recommendations emerged. Firstly, our company, Prefect, should definitely take advantage of stronger demand created by economic growth and tax cuts. Secondly, the company should definitely continue focusing on digital transformation and technology consulting, where long-term demand will remain strong. Thirdly, management should closely monitor the interest rates moving around because they directly influence client investment decisions. Fourth, international diversification can reduce exposure to trade tensions in any single market. And finally, the behavioral economics principles should definitely be integrated into our sales and strategy to improve customer engagement and guide them in their decision making. In conclusion, the economic environment presents both opportunities and challenges for our company, Perfect. Tax cuts are likely to stimulate demand and create new consulting opportunities. Interest rates, if they increase, will help control inflation, but they will temporarily reduce client investment. Tariffs can create uncertainty and reduce international business activity. And finally, behavioral economics provides practical tools for improving our customer engagement and decision making. By adapting to these conditions and focusing on innovation and customer understanding, I am sure Perfect can strengthen its competitive position and achieve its best sustainable growth. Thank you for your time.